my glasses. Hey, Rigo, Travis. Let's see. Alexi. This one actually shipped up here as a no power, but I plugged it in and after about 30 seconds it booted, so hopefully we've just got a corrosion fault on it. Just the usual sort of thing where the shipping process jiggles things around and it decides, yeah, alright, okay, I'll work. Fingers crossed. Either that or it's a VRM issue, in which case we'll have to replace the VRMs, which is, well, it's doable, but it's not as much fun as chasing down a little piece of corrosion. Hey, Andre, look. Thunderbird. They're out. These. So this won't hopefully be a long stream because I've got stuff to do. It is the middle of the day. But this did come in just this morning, so I figured I'd quickly try and get it out of the way. You always feel more enthusiastic about the fresh jobs that have come in rather than the ones that you haven't had the best of luck with to date, sitting in the queue waiting to be looked at again, maybe get some real love. Oh, for goodness sake, really? Asking for trouble picking away at that. Hey, Greg, Christian, Alan, hey, Micromage. Let's see, hopefully we don't knock these Wi-Fi cables out. It's a whole lot of fun when you do that on this model. Actually, it's a whole lot of fun when you knock any of the Wi-Fi cables out. What doesn't help on this particular model is the fact that trying to get the camera out. Wow, this camera is actually seriously jammed in. The way that they've merged the cables on this thing, it makes it difficult to walk the camera connector out. Okay, there we go. Because you've got to get some flex in it, but it's stuck to the fan, and the fan says, I'm not going to give you any flex. So you have to negotiate. Hey, Steve B. I'm actually not sure what model this one is. Yeah, without my glasses I've got no hope of guessing what the board is. Actually, I can see a green tinge over here, so it is looking like it could end up being corrosion. And this connector here always catches me above the big inductor, because I always forget that it's there. It looks like it's just a big piece of plastic or something. Alright, I've still got the display connector to get rid of. Rodrigo, what she tried to blame you for stealing stuff from her MacBook, as in parts or something else? Ah, blimey heck, I see we've got subtle tearing again on this. Yep. Gotta get that Magewell card. No, can't get rid of that one. Yeah. Still, the Magewell is like $1,000 Australian for the 4-port one. I don't figure there's much point in buying the single port one. It's kind of a bit of a waste, especially that I do have 2 cameras that need to be fed in via HDMI. So at the very least I need a 2-port, and I figure I may as well get a 4-port. Who knows what I'll need in the future. Yeah, you're a 163, aren't you? So she denied the quote for the board repair, and before coming in to pick it up, she hinted that she was going to take it to the last tech who opened it. Yeah, great. Great. Yep. I mean, by all means, they can do that, but it's the intent in which they say these things, or the way they're trying to set it up. So the boards, there's boards that I won't touch sometimes. What the heck? That was... Like if you see boards where everything is being marked with ID pen, things like that, or you just get the feel that it's triple three. Okay, we know what's going on with this one. Okay, U8900 for a start. But we'll have a look and see if there's anything else. But U8900 is probably the culprit. That's funny. You get so used to not getting classic jobs that when one turns up, you're completely blind to it. Okay, so we've got a 3332. I'm still going to search for other issues, because as you can see, there's a bit of green here and there. It won't hurt for me to pull this plastic backing off just to have a look as well. Hey, Defcom. Yeah, that's really caught me off guard. Just pulling off that protective backing. I use the term lightly. I mean, it does help protect some of the CPU VREG stuff, but perhaps not as well as what Apple would wish. Alright. Yeah, though in this case it does seem to have done its job. Bravo. Maybe this is just explicitly U8900. I kind of feel... I don't get why there's solder on there though. That's kind of weird. I don't feel like I should be this lucky today. It certainly would explain why it's running when it's turned up here. Alright, well, U8900. Honestly, this feels like it's had other rework done to it. Like this area here, I don't know, either a really awful factory job or... yeah, it's pretty damn yuck. Okay, maybe we can just call it a bad factory job. Yeah, you can see that the parts haven't gotten, or the board and everything has not gotten warm enough during the reflow process. Yeah, things are left, like this here, that hasn't drifted back in properly. Unless this has been reworked, like we've got flux here and here, but yeah, it's a lot of flux. But yeah, I really don't know what to think of it. Oh well. Guess we'll fix up U8900 anyway. Hey Michael Kiram. Yeah, it's like they just didn't have the reflow oven working quite right, or their paste mixture was a bit dud. Something didn't go right there. Just gonna heat things up a bit. Hey Joseph King. Thomas Bulver. I'm just hitting this with 250 at the moment just to warm up the board a bit in general, because I'm going to be using a micro pencil, and if you try to use a micro pencil on U8900 directly without warming the board up, it's a bit difficult. You don't really get a proper reflow job on it. And make sure you don't pick up that resistor there. You get some very interesting behaviour if you accidentally pick that resistor up and try to run without it. Ask me because I know. The board's starting to cool down a bit there. Damn it, why are you snared? Looks like my backlight controller fell off the back edge of the bench. That was very smart, Paul. Alright, see, this is why you got to check from an angle. We've got a nice little bridge there. Those look fine. Those look fine. Might just add a little more on that one, I think. Oh no, it's just a piece of junk. They look fine. Yep. Yeah, better get rid of that bridge. James, Ewing. Once again, heat it up a bit. The other alternative, of course, is you just use a bigger soldering bit, but, well, I prefer to use a bit of assisting heat. There we go. Bridge resolved. And we didn't take the resistor away. Alright. Hey Pedro, I still haven't got your that board yet. It's starting to make me cranky. I'll have to put you down on the priority of suppliers lists now. You won't get the same privileges that you had before. Yeah, whereas before I used to pay you, now I don't think I will. So you take that amount that I paid you for those boards, and let's say we just halve it, and that's going to be your future income. So let's see, 0 divided by 2, carry the 1, that's 0. I hate these. I will not be shipping it out like this. This is just so I can test it. But by the looks of it, it's going to take me half a day just to get the get the damn board back in. Probably not holding my tongue in the right position. That's the problem. Since Pedro's become a bit more famous, he's sort of given me a lot less high quality service. Now I'm just sort of getting the average everyday service from him. I mean, it's understandable. Money buys fake loyalty, so, and I just haven't been giving him much. This is actually proving to be quite tricky at the moment because I don't have my glasses on, and I certainly am a lot blinder than I was even 6 months ago. So right now I'm mostly reassembling by feel. Ah, the dreaded, yeah. Oh wait, no, we're good. We hadn't taken that one off the board. Don't worry, when I ultrasonic this board, put it back together, I'll forget to put that damn flex back on. And I'll remember just as I'm about to put the back plate on, because that's just the way it goes. Yeah, Mr. Magoo's about right. It's like how I do my street side parking by feel. Just go forward to get the signifying bump, and you're all good. Sometimes you can also do it audibly by the people screaming. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, Pedro, I actually find it amusing that they have that bumper buddy thing. It's like, alright, we're suckful at parking, or people suck at parking, so let's make it so that you can still be a suckful parker, and it's all okay. Some good product marketing, or selection. Alright, we're not going to bother with the Wi-Fi and things. We're going to get this started in the upright position. I will actually put the battery in though, because I want to be able to make sure it runs at full performance. We didn't do the crossover flex. Come back here, disconnect. Probably don't have to disconnect that to put the crossover flex on, but I'm not really in the mood to play chicken with Murphy today. Joseph, I can appreciate that. I'm at the 2 glasses stage. Working my way up. Okay, looking good. Boom, 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 boom. Sadly, this is the only machine I've had arrive today. I was a bit disappointed. Normally, particularly on Fridays, I get a good stash of... I just realised I didn't plug that battery back in. Blast it, man. Well, we'll wait for it to finish booting and then I'll shut it down, plug the battery back in, and then, yeah. Micromage, how old are you? For me, it started around about my mid to late 30s. I just remember coming home one night at night in the car and realised that I couldn't read the signs properly. It was all, flared. I mean, if I really tried, I could, but it would certainly, you put too much effort into it. Shut down. 46. Well, you're doing alright then. Hey.
There's a customer here to talk to you about a phone.
About a phone. I'm on a live stream. Have they spoken to me before? Okay.
I don't think so. I think he's just a call.
A walk-in.
Yeah. He said, I need to speak to Paul Daniels about a phone.
Oh, gee. Do you know if it's an iPhone?
It looks like an iPhone.
Okay.
Do you want me to just get him to write down?
Can he give me his contact details and something like that, and I contact him and find out? Hey, friend. I love walk-ins that aren't scheduled. I've just sort of been getting a real bad run of it lately. I mean, yeah, I should be thankful as customers, but at the same time, particularly when it's the I need to talk to Paul thing, and it's like, you don't really need to talk to me, you just want to talk to me. It's not the same thing as you need to talk to me. And most of the time it's just a case of they just need a screen replacement. But a lot of people do have that yearning drive in them that they have to talk to the person first. No, I'm not taking it. What is the time? It's not even 12 o'clock yet, so they're actually here before the official hours. The problem with talking is that most of the time it's not very, like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of repeating. There's a lot of explanations. There's a whole lot of stuff that pads out what should be a 5-second statement. Have you repaired the black screen issue with the 1286 amine tube? Which one are you talking about? I mean, there's a few. You're talking about the GPU fault one? I've done a few of those. Okay, we're charging. Yeah. Okay, let's run the valley. The official hours are midday to 6 p.m. Hey, Tony. And they are posted up on the multiple places. I think this is going to run suckful for a bit. Oh no, there we go. Yep. Okay. Do I have volume? Oh, that took a while. Hey.
Just a screen repair.
Thought as much.
He didn't know how much it was going to cost. He said like 150 something. I said around that.
It's a 7 plus, so yeah, 140.
Okay.
Let me just check that I've got stock. Is he still around?
No, he's taken off. I said we'll contact him.
Oh, okay, so you've got the contact details, yeah. Cool. And yeah, thankfully I've got a whole bunch of 7 pluses, so it's all good. Yeah, so it'll be 140 on that, so you're right on the money.
Well, he was the one that said, he said, oh, is it about 150? And I said around about. I said, I'm pretty sure it's around about that.
Yeah.
So he'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, that's. Oh, we might just have to. That's funny because that means then he must have talked to me at some point.
Maybe you've done work for him in the past.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you. Hey, Jessica. Alrighty. Nice. 2.4 i7 with 8 gigs. Okay, so it's not the 16 gig one, but it's a nice machine. The only thing I've got a bit of a worry about here is the battery's still showing 0, but it is charging up. It's charging at 4 amps, as you can see. And we're doing 20 frames per second roughly. I'm not sure if that will pick up when the battery charge picks up or not. Because I know even though it's plugged in, sometimes they do seem to slow things down if they don't have enough battery charge. Alright, well, we'll just put this to sleep and let it charge. And we'll put it aside and I'll fix up this iPhone. Busy days. Okay. And we'll watch that charge current rate Okay, iPhone time. I need my glasses. I can't do an iPhone without my glasses because I really need it to be able to see the screws. So I'll be back in a minute. I gotta go get my glasses for the iPhone.
Oh, I'll go get it.
Blue down there. The other good thing, the other nice thing about having the glasses is that they are protectors for flying pieces of glass. Especially when you're trying to get the screen off and you run the separator down the side. Waiting. I need to put a battery in this thing. That's them. Thank you very much. Okay. That's my favorite color. Don't really have one. Never really. I guess it's mood dependent. Blue, black, grey, that sort of realm. Ah, bugger. Yeah, there's some pitting on the battery. I'm going to have to call them. Damn it. And they've had liquid damage in here. You can see where the battery has done a venting, so that's going to need replacing. Damn. Ah, boy. So that $140 is now going to become a bit more than that. And this has been dropped pretty heavy. The screws have rattled out. Idiot. Battery first, not last. Speaking of which, people who do iPhone screen replacements a lot, on the iPhone 10 series, I've noticed there's more and more physically designed aspects that you can't disconnect the battery very effectively without first taking the screen off, or a portion of the screen. And I find that very frustrating. And I'm just wondering whether anyone else had experienced that and what their thoughts were, and whether it was pretty much industry standard to still just disconnect the screens first. I mean, I know if the device is actually turned off, it's not such a problem, but there are times where you can't turn the device off. Maybe it's got a smashed screen and it's constantly turning itself on, you can't get it to disable it. It's I don't like disconnecting things in that sort of state. Alright, I need to actually go get the contact details. Oh boy, I'm actually going to have to do a voice call on this one. This is going to be no fun at all. I'm just going to have to mute you all. Sorry. Alrighty, yeah, good thing I checked. General sense of disinclination to have that repaired. And they're like, do we have to change the battery? And I was like, yeah, well, I don't want it catching on fire and then you suing the hell out of me because I didn't advise you that it was a dangerous battery. And this is the other reason why it gets a bit frustrating when you have to deal with the walk-ins, particularly if you're not around, is because you don't get to write down on text or anything like that to say during the repair of the screen, if we find there is a battery fault, then we really need to replace it due to liability reasons. 2017, yeah, just starting to get to the age where it's a problem. Hey G1R1, or Giri. But yeah, I could hear in the voice of the person, they're like, how much just for the screen? And I was like, well, I suspect they have been, pardon me, I suspect they've been looking at prices from other options in Townsville, and of course they'll be a fair bit cheaper if they go to Townsville, and they will get something that is a fair bit cheaper on all accounts. Okay, these are starting to annoy me. And plenty of times I get back those cheaper jobs and people are like, we spent all our money on this place and now it's still not working. What? Oh, you're a clone. Great. And you're a cheap, nasty clone too. I'm not going to have any data to transfer. This is like an aftermarket cheap clone. So I've got no data to transfer. Oh well. Looks like they've got the same supplier, but yeah, they've used a different one. From the same supplier, they've got about 3 or 4 different grades of screens. I guess Joseph, sorry, my glass isn't, that's it, get on there, right. But hunk of hair is getting in the way of these microphones. Yeah, driving, if it's the only thing you do to go to Townsville, then yeah, it's a false economy. But if you're there already for another reason, which is fairly common for us out here, then it is fairly economical, except for the fact that you end up with a job that often is a little bit on the dodgy side. Not always. It's not all people in Townsville. There are reputable repair agents in Townsville, I know that. But if you do go to the kiosk type places, then more often than not you do end up with something that's not quite so value for money. Okay, Rodrigo. There's no real point me cloning another screen in this case. They didn't even transfer the protective backing on this. The worst thing is that data's gone now, yeah, so sure, I can recreate it, but I'm going to assume in this situation that it's really not a problem to them, given that they've already lived with this. I did tell the person, I said I'd be fine to scrub the job, you know, if they don't want to spend the money, it's fine, I understand that. I'm not forcing them to, they're not under obligation to. I will just close the phone back up and it's all theirs. Yeah, I don't want to impose on people that whole, well, I just spent the last 2 minutes pulling your phone apart and it's in pieces on the workbench, so you better go ahead with the job. Hey, no. Yeah, I've already done the MacBook. It was a 3332 board with a U8900. I was actually shocked. I was shocked because I was not expecting it to be that. I was pretty much expecting it to be a 163 with VRM issues amongst everything else. Come on. With these plastic protectors that they put on for just the manufacturer shipping, I do wish they would put the tabs at the bottom. Wow, this is the most stuck I've ever had one. This is almost good enough to be an actual screen protector. Oh, for goodness sake, really? Sometimes this button does not want to capture. Okay. After a couple of tries, if it doesn't work, you go under the microscope, because every now and then you do actually get screens with dodgy connectors on them. So you just want to double check, make sure they haven't done something like put the wrong one on, or Wow, I'll never have this much drama. Must be because I'm on YouTube. Seriously? It looks a little fatter at the ends. At these ends here, they look distinctly fatter. I'm not going to Dremel them. The only thing I'd do for this is I would send it back to the supplier. Yep, no, that's... See, I've just damaged that. I'm trying to put it in. So, no. Wow, dodgy much. What I could do is just simply replace it rather than sending it back. That's a spot of annoyance, rather. Damn it. Definitely because I'm on YouTube. Alright. Oh, look at that one. That one actually had it on the bottom as requested. Yeah, I could have used some extra force. Lots of extra force. Smushed it until everything lined up. Ta-da! See, that one worked. I mean, there wasn't a huge variation in that connector, but it was enough at those scales. I will have a think about maybe just simply refurbishing it myself. Yeah, take the connector from the old screen and put it on. It's not like if I have to RMA it again, like if maybe the screen internally fails, it's not like they're going to look at that and go, oh look, Paul changed this himself. Because quite frankly, when you look at the quality of the connectors sometimes, honestly, the work I do is generally going to be a better standard than what you normally get. Because I mean, yeah, the poor buggers making these things, what do they get? 5 cents a screen maybe if they're lucky. And they work 14 hours a day. Yeah, there's no love in that job. So you can't really blame them. But it's things like that which do, well, I like to feel, do separate why I charge more as opposed to a kiosk. Because I can almost guarantee you they would have pretty much smushed it, screwed it down, and then when it didn't work anymore and there was no Touch ID, they would have said, well, it got smashed during the original screen damage. Let's just enable the home button, the virtual home button, and send you on your way. You know that's how it would go. As opposed to finding out why it was doing that, bringing out another screen. Wrong one, Paul. Well, Joseph, I use iPhones, and I give my family members iPhones. The main reason is because they're so much more consistent in general, and you can still use an iPhone 6 these days. Though it is starting to get to the end of that lifespan. But certainly a 6S is a perfectly viable phone. I myself now use a 7. Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this too now. What the flip is going on today? Oh my god, these people are useless, that's it. I'm gonna have to change my supplier at this rate. What the hell? Just realized, yep. Whoever made this particular batch of replacements needs to have their fingers replaced. Okay, the problem they've done is they put the flex underneath the metal plate. Why? What a pain. Hopefully they haven't damaged it. Spit and chips if they have. Normally I don't get these pre-assembled units. I'm sure I had my reasons. Blood. Blimey heck, Harry. Blimey. The worst thing is I have to take that camera flex off now. Again. And like I said, of course, it's all happening on YouTube live. Can't even edit it out. People know the truth. There's no hiding it. And I have to undo this. I mean, I can try and slip the flex through the hole without taking it all off, but you know that's a fool's errand. Pay extra so you can do more to fix up the mistakes in the extra. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you pull this up that you don't get a sudden let go and tear that corner up. Okay, I just noticed I don't have the adhesive on the back here. My God, it's an atrocity. You shouldn't have to be spending your time fixing up assembly mistakes. And the next thing I'm going to be worried about is when I do put this all together, it's probably going to bunch up these cables. And so it's going to really want to push that cable out like a little hernia and get pinched off. I have to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, Alexia. Well, actually, you know, Alexia, I've been using this supplier for a long time now, 6-7 years. And in most cases, they're fine. But I think what's happened here is, for whatever reason, their supplier has changed for this particular model. And subsequently, I'm having to now deal with it. Alright. What bothers me here is that it's cutting into my 1 hour projected time for the repair. Hey Tony. Oh, Warren, how's it going? But yeah, this is the stuff that happens when you least really want it to. Like I said, either on YouTube, or you've got a backlog of jobs that you got to cut through for the day, and it's the weekend, so you can't get a nice fresh batch the next day through overnight. So nope, and you can't even go to a friendly competitor in town to pick up replacements because, well, there's such things don't exist here. Come on, come on, come on. Maybe this is happening because of the fact that I got lucky enough with that A1398 being a U8900 fault. So it's sort of the universe's way of balancing the books, so to speak. It's like, alright, we gave Paul a nice gift job, but he's going to have to pay in other ways. Alright, let's try that again. Don't blame me about the bot. I didn't write the bot. I don't have words listed. Yeah, I haven't got a list up there saying you can't say sucks or anything like that. The dangerous thing about these jobs is that it's easy to get flustered and then you start making things worse and it just becomes a cascade, and then you do a nice table flip exercise. And do not tell me you've got a bodgy connector, because that will really just make my day. Okay. Just gonna make sure this actually boots up. And make sure I don't have any screen defects or things like that. You know, like glitches or anything. iPhone is disabled. Oh, this is gonna suck beautifully. Hey, Carlos. Fortunately, the disabled is only the 15-minute disabled. Hey, bub.
Where's the package to pick up to give to my cousin?
Sorry? Oh, shoot. Yeah, it's,
I didn't want to grab the wrong one.
yeah. No, it's... Rightio, welcome to why I generally don't stream during the day, because it's these things happen. Alright, where was I? I do believe I was putting the metal plate back in. Particularly because this workshop is a considerable distance. It's pretty much diametrically opposed on the plan to where the reception is. Anyway, in that particular case, that was the courier coming to pick up my package, which I wasn't expecting them to do until, middle of next week, because I've been fighting and fighting and fighting with this particular courier. Not the local agent, but rather the service provider. They have this problem where I submit... Actually, I think that's going to be okay. I submit the pickup request, and then the first thing they do the next day is say that it was a futile pickup because they tried to turn up at 7:30 in the morning, according to the schedule, according to the itinerary. And it's like, no one turned up here at 7:30 in the morning. What are you even doing turning up at 7:30 in the morning to try and pick it up? And so you reschedule it, and it'll do it again the next morning. So you reschedule it, and then it says you have to recreate this order to for it to go through again. So you recreate it, and then finally that ticket comes through to the local pickup agent, and they come along and pick it up in 30 minutes. But yeah, so I was expecting to go through that protracted process because I only created the job 2 days ago. Anyways, that turned up, and I was like, oh, maybe all my yelling has finally taken effect, or maybe it was just pure dumb luck. Joseph, no. Funnily enough, the lost parcel one was Australia Post. We got very lucky with that, I've got to admit. Wade, yes, I do normally transfer True Tone. Unfortunately, see, I've got my True Tone unit here. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, this screen here did not have True Tone capability. This is like bottom of the barrel aftermarket piece of junk, and so it doesn't have even the facility for it. These ones do have the ability, but I had no data for it, and I wasn't going to go through the process of regenerating it. Okay, so let's see if this needs its charge port cleaned up. No, you're doing pretty good. Okay. Screen's a bit dim, but I suspect that might be their settings. So, right, cancel. I hate that I don't have the ability to, I like to test the screens by, you do the slide up, even if it's locked. You can test to make sure that it doesn't have any line breaks in the sense. Because if there is a break in there when you're doing that slide up, it will then immediately drop it back down. But it wasn't available on this one, so that's okay. Alright, so that one looks like that's good to go. How's our charging on that MacBook going? Seems to be doing alright. Okay. So much plastic waste. I wish they would ship these things to me, or have the option for low or minimal waste on them. And a battery that can go into the battery recycling pile, which will probably turn into some flammable mayhem like a tire fire or something if I'm not careful. Another battery that's going to go in there. Alright, we'll just check that MacBook, see that it's going, and then if it's good, that's it. That's the end of the stream for today. On the upside, this is a good, sleep test as well. Hey Eddie. Alright, came back and we got 43%. Let's see what our frames per second are on the value now. Hey Nikita. Yeah, the frames per second are much better now. So like we're at 48, nearly 50 frames per second here. Whereas before, when the battery was close to zero, we were sort of hitting around about 20. I think it was. Oh wow, it was 70, 80. It's a vastly better performance now. That's good. Alright, hey Terry Taylor from UK. Alright then, I'll just leave this to run for a bit. I mean, it is U8900, so mostly I think U8900 tends to manifest when you do transitions, but we'll see. We'll give it a long burn-in test. Okay, that's it for today. I will catch you all the next time. I don't think I've got any more jobs turning up, so it could be a bit of a dry weekend. But in saying that, I've got a lot of shifting to get done, so maybe come next week things will be a bit better. So I'll catch you all later. Until then, you take care.